We made it back for day motherfucking 10, bro. How did we get to 10 already? I feel like we just made it to. We just posted our first video, dude. Time flies. That's crazy. So it's a beautiful Wednesday. Man, my days are all messed up. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and I had an absolutely amazing day, to be frank. I mean, so I was telling you guys yesterday, I had this presentation I had to do that I had been putting off, and I just, like, there was such a resistance to do it, because I was like, man, my skill set is like intimacy, not in that way, but like intimately talking to people, or like not having like some sort of corporate lecture, right? Like that's not my strong suit, or not something I want to do. My strong suit is having like task forces or meeting with small groups of people and talking to them. So I had all this resistance until my boss was kind of like, oh dude, you have to give this presentation, because it's almost like your prerequisite to getting to the point where then you can have those intimate conversations. Like, this is like, it's your prerequisite to then, you know, to showing yourself to all these different people, and then being like, oh, I actually want to like have my own personal conversation with this guy, or, you know, whatever it is, depending on how well I do my presentation. So I don't know why that kind of reframed it for me as it's like a prerequisite, and like, but then this week, you know, I had some more resistance, and I was like, I don't really want to do it. And then yesterday I was saying like how I regrounded during lunch and kind of locked in and clutched it up. So today was the day for me to like give the presentation to the final run, the finale of my presentation to my boss, just me and her, or one of my bosses, let's say. And bro, like, I don't know what happened. Whenever, like, I think what happened was, it also clicked with me that all throughout college, like, or whenever in schooling, whenever I had to do a presentation, I never would practice it. I would just like get all the information down, look at it, and then just like kind of like intuitively understand what was going on, and then just be able to go out there and riff. Like, I remember in my social psych class, I kind of like had this really complex like presentation. It was some sort on politics. It was something, I forgot exactly what it was, and I was so jittery because I needed to just get it out, and I was like, I need to present right now. And so I was the first person to present. I always like going first, and I killed it, bro. I got an A. I never rehearsed it once. I never did anything. I just like cooked. And so I don't know what happened when I realized, like, oh wait, I'm like building up this mountain in my head where I'm like having to, like, I need to like really practice my routine and you know, because whatever it is. I was like, wait, no, I don't. I'm a freestyler, bro. I'm a off the cuff kind of guy. And so I gave her this presentation, and I cooked so hard, right? And she was like, dude, she clapped at the end. She's like, you get an A+. She had some minor tweaks, just like some little things, but a lot of it was like me talking too much about something that I could, like, I don't have to talk that much about, which is like a good thing, because it means I know more than I need to. And so for like one thing, it was I had to explain this one resource. I'm being very cryptic because I don't want people to know what I do. But I had to explain this one resource. And it took me like 10 minutes to fully like deep dive into this thing. And her no at the end was like, man, you could get that done in 3 minutes. But like, I'm so proud of you for knowing so much about it. Like, she's like, if I asked 100 people to tell me what this is, like, I would imagine only like one of those people could really tell me what it is without saying false information. She's like, everything you said was so absolutely correct, it's kind of insane. And I was like, and I didn't even like, I don't even know what point it went from me not understanding it to me fully understanding it. I have no clue. It was just like this thought, like the gratitude yesterday, because I didn't practice that at all. And I went from not understanding it to then being able to talk about it for 10 minutes. So I have no clue. So I'm pretty proud about that. And I got an A+, and it was like this big thing that me and her have been working on for months, like that, for me to do this big presentation. I finally got it, and now I'm ready to like go out and present in front of people. And I'm not scared about it. Like, I'm not scared about it because I know I did well, and I know what I'm talking about. I forget it's like that quote, bro. These football players be saying, it's like was it Kobe that said it? Something about like never being anxious. about a game because he's done everything he can to be prepared, or like him being anxious means like he hasn't prepared enough, right? And that's how I feel like I feel like I don't have anxiety about presenting because I've prepared enough. So that was kind of like, I feel so proud about getting that done. Like, that's getting done. I have a huge thing that's being a huge project that is being announced on the 28th. I got so much good stuff happening. But also, like, you know, sometimes life's not always like so wonderful and blissful, and like even right after I got home from work, like me and my girlfriend, we kind of had a little tiff because I wasn't really understanding where she was coming from, and I felt like she was attacking me, like, but she wasn't, and then she felt like I was attacking her, but I wasn't meaning to, and so it was this huge, like, something that was like something minor, like whether or not she told the doctor the correct information when it came to like Willow, like when my dog went to the vet, like if she messed up messed up on some of the information relaying, like whether it was, it turned into this big like hour-long conversation, and then afterwards we were like I don't know, like why did it turn into this thing, you know? And then we just kind of forgave each other. We like that. I don't know. That's the best part about me and her relationship is like even if we have like a huge tiff, I know about like 10 minutes later we're gonna be sitting there like fully like diving into and analyzing where each person went wrong, or where I went wrong, or when I perceived something to be this when it was actually that. And so we have a very beautiful relationship. Because I was telling her, like, because she was like, you know, I expressed myself in this way, and you didn't receive it well, and you kind of like, and like I didn't receive it well, and like I had resistance to talking about whatever topic it was, and so she's like, well now it's like, oh well, I know that's not to bring the topic up for you, but of course that's a sucky situation, because you don't want to have topics where you can't bring up with your significant other, and so that made me think a lot. Now as we get over it, I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about it right now. Like the reason I have resistance means I need to talk about it, because it means it's like you're hitting some sort of sore spot that I need to get out. Like I need to like unravel. And so I was thinking about like couples that are, you know, like your parent, like everyone's parents here, right? And like adults that have been married for years, sometimes you can see these relationships and they don't tend to talk with each other a lot. And maybe it's because, you know, it all started with like, oh, this one thing, you talked about this one thing, and then like the husband, like the boyfriend got upset, and now as husband and wife, like that interaction has happened like 100 times with 100 different topics, where you realize that just all sour spots with this person, and this person doesn't want us to talk about it. And so then you end up in a position where you're in a marriage with people, you're in a marriage with someone that you can't connect with at all, because anytime you try, there's a resistance for them. Like you're hitting something like sweet on them, or sour spot, not sweet spot. And so it's like, you know, a lot of times you look at adults and you're like, how did you get there? Like, or you look at, you know, your parents' relationship and you're like, man, I would do things differently. How did they get there? And it shows itself when you start dating, you know, because like a lot of, you know, as you start dating, a lot of my mom and my dad come out of me, right? And a lot of my girlfriend's mom and dad come out of her in different ways, right? And you could see, like, over time, if we don't heal this and we continue to have this same conversation, or we continue to exercise certain behaviors or trauma responses without like really talking about it and having the EQ to kind of and the self-awareness to heal it, or you know, or even the desire to heal it, all these little jabs over time in 20 years will equate to us being exactly like, you know, our parents. And no one's perfect. I'm not saying it's about perfection. And dude, I love my parents, trust me, man. My days of like being so like, oh, you guys are the reason for all the bad things in my life, and just being like kind of like unforgiving towards them, that I cleared that up a couple years ago. Like I think like a couple Christmases ago, like I wrote them both letters for their Christmas present, and I don't know if they took it that way, but my point of those letters was to be like, I forgive you guys, like I have no, like I love you guys, and I'm here for y'all, right? And like no, my parents are wonderful, but you still kind of see like they're not perfect, and so those parts of the good parts and the bad parts about your parents will come out, right? And I don't know. you could just kind of see how you know, because you even if we extrapolate to something else. Like if you see someone in a really bad, like in a, you know, let me think of a good example. You just see someone that's like really narcissistic or something. Let's say, or like I don't know. You see someone that's like behaves a certain way. You sit there and like, how did they get here? Or you think like, no way they're like this. But it's like they got there through like years and years of small little behaviors, of small little, you know, things happening to them, and over time that, you know, this has led to that. And so when I see that, I'm like, every time me and my girlfriend like talk about something and work through it and heal it, is one more time in which we don't like bring that into the future and like bring, like, you know, it's one more time where we heal that part of our parents that they couldn't heal, you know, because it's like, ooh, what's that called? I mean, there's like, I forgot the real word for it, but there's like multi-generational trauma, right? And like each group gets better, like each generation gets better. Like obviously I can tell that my dad is a much more open and loving person than, let's say, my grandpa, and my grandpa's probably far more open and, you know, not far, like whatever it is, like each generation gets better. And now it's in my lap, and I'm like, okay, like the water's still dirty, but it's not as dirty as it was for my as it was for my dad, and it's not as dirty, nearly as dirty as it was for my grandpa. So like I think I might be the last generation to kind of cleanse this water. But you know, I'm being very like metaphorical, but like it may be up to me to kind of finish, you know, and fully heal, you know, the generational trauma. And I've been so scared of that responsibility for a long time, but now I'm like, give it to me. I could do it. I will for sure do it. No doubt, no hesitation, nothing. I know that's my destiny, and I for sure will get it done. And I want my kids to have a father that's like emotionally receptive and emotionally open, and kind of, and can teach them things about like themselves, or, you know, about how to deal through, you know, go through certain things, right? Like I don't want to just be the stoic guy that's like, you know, you got to learn to, and you just got to get through this thing, and, you know, your emotions are only under your control. And like, even though all that's true, I don't know, like, ooh, I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. There's this movie called Civil War. It came out in 2024, and the Gwyneth Paltrow is the main character, and like she's a journalist, and she's like a war journalist. So she goes out and she's like she's always out in these war torn countries. She's like she's a world renowned journalist, and she's like taking photos of people getting shot, people getting blown up, people getting sacrificed, you know, war, whatever. And she meets this little girl, this like, not little girl, but this girl that's like in her 20s, who just like just starts out in being a journalist and taking photography. And she, Gwyneth Paltrow is like her like one of her favorite journalists, right? And they get into their very first like serious situation where there's like, let's just say there's death involved, and the girl, she can't even take out her camera. She's so like, the fear that's in her is so palpable. Like she can't move, she can't function, she can't do anything. She's just like, she's in shock, she's in freeze. And Gwyneth Paltrow just takes a picture like it's nothing, and they get back in the car, and the girl's like crying. Like the girl starts like sobbing because she's breaking down from what she just saw. And Gwyneth Paltrow's like, bro, like, do I have a kid? Why do I have? Oh God, she's crying. Oh my God, like, do I have a kindergartner in my back seat? Like, you need to suck it up, like that type of shit. And later on in the movie, like this old wise character was kind of like, man, you're not being hard on that girl, you're being hard on yourself. And that's all it is, right? It's like if I were to yell at my kid, let's say like my kid drops a glass, and I'm so mad, I'm like, why did you drop the glass? Rather than being like, you know, hey, are you okay? Like, it's okay, like we can get another glass, like as long as you're okay, it's fine. No, if you know, if I'm like, what the you know, that's probably because, you know, when I dropped the glass as a kid, my parents were getting mad as hell, and when they dropped the glass, their parents got mad as hell, and that cycle will continue until one parent is like, hey, the glass doesn't matter at all. Like, are you okay? And so I want to get to that point. I think I'm already. I think I'm there. I mean, I'm learning through my dog, which is a strange thing. But there's, you know, I think it's a really true thing that you should probably have a dog before you have a kid, because there's still things that are transferable. There's still things that happen with your, you know, my dog is sick. Do I bring her to the vet? You know, whatever it is, you gotta. There's still responsibility there of taking care of something that's relying on you. Wait, how much time have I left? Because I don't want to mess. I don't want to go over. Bro, it's already been so long. It's kind of crazy. I started this journey 10 days ago. 10 days. Like, that's the other thing. It's like, you know, I was being stuck in analysis paralysis for years is kind of trash, but also like it's not even just that. It's like I can't get past I couldn't get past my biological need for like novelty, or like whether I have ADHD, whatever it is. Like it was like, you know, I would try something, do it for a little bit, and then be like, and then just like forget about it, and then pick something up and be like, and then build up this mountain. Like I'm gonna do all this great things, then do it for like a little bit, and then put it down. But this, and then that whole time, I think to myself, like when the next year comes, I think to myself, man, if I drew every day for that, like how good would I be right now? Or if, you know, if I was doing photography this whole time, how good would I be right now? But instead, I just like sat I mustered in my own like my own brain and had no action. And so this is like completely the opposite. This is like, I don't know. This is like, there's no thinking. It's like I just get home and record. There's no thought process here. There's no big mountain in my head. It's like, oh, it's just like there's not even humps. It's like I'm just walking on some flat. I might even move. No, walking downhill is actually kind of hard. I might just be frolicking in the in the flower field right now. And there's no expectation. I just like record. There's no, I don't know. There's no analysis. There's no analysis process at all. And it makes you think. I'm like, oh man, it's already been 10 days. And if I started in January, it would be like day 50 something by now. And if I keep going like this, by the time it's, you know, April, I think, or April or March, it'll be like 50 something, right? It's really, the best time to start is now. Always true. Because, you know, 10 days from now, it could have been, you know, if I didn't start now, and then 10 days later, I could have been like, man, I could have had 10 videos by now. But I don't have to think like that, because I do have 10 videos. This is my 10th video. Ah, it's crazy. Anyways, y'all, I'm out of here. Guys, girls, gays, non-binary, trans, they, them, these, her, everyone. I hope you all have a blessed Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow on a beautiful Thursday. Oh, birds are crazy, bro. I need to get some binoculars, but alright. I have a lot of GERD right now. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo.